What's up, Edmonton? How you doing? What a song to come into.
I know. I was not expecting that.
Welcome to EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. I'm Hernan, Salas, Joaquin, Gage to my right, the one and only Matthew Wanick behind the camera here. And Gage, it's a big day. NFL kicks off today. We're going to go all over the place today when it comes to the sports world. We'll give you a quick lineup here. We're going to talk a lot Ravens and Chiefs. Commonwealth Reynolds, which that news dropped yesterday after our show, which was pretty interesting. And the Elks bidding for the 2026 Grey Cup. Ian Herbers, head coach of the Golden Bears men's hockey team, will join us at 1:20. The Red Light District makes its debut 1:40. 2 o'clock, we're going to have some fun. We're going to have a lot of NFL predictions. You felt it was too much, but
oh my gosh, working with you, this is.
It was only six categories.
It's day 3,
so.
and he's putting me through the ringer here. Unreal, the amount of prep I have to do.
DVD,
but that's all right.
DVD from NHL.com, who's in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's going to join us at 2:20 and at 2:40. Close out the show and set up for Friday. Of course, you can listen to us live on EdmontonSports.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or watch on the EST YouTube channel. You want to connect? Paris Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Gager, how excited are you for the opening of the NFL season? Chiefs, Ravens. I mean, you can't ask for a better matchup.
No, it's you want to see the two best, well, the top ranked quarterbacks in the league go at it. One wanting to cement his legacy even more.
Yeah.
One trying to build one, right? And Zig was on saying basically it's getting to the point now for Lamar that he needs to win one, right? It's not good enough to be the perennial MVP of the league. He needs to put one of those rings on his finger there. But yeah, to be honest, I'm really happy that preseason's over because it's just I
think the players are too.
Oh yeah,
it's
exciting. I think I'm guessing here, but I'm probably pretty confident to say that it's great for rookies. You know, guys trying to prove themselves, maybe getting those kind of a walk-on or PTO contracts. The leaves changing. You see the leaves changing. NFL's on. It's starting. So everyone's excited about this. It changes the landscape of sports watching. Unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to stream it on my computer or something because my cable box is down.
Hey, you had a rough start to the day with your cable. You were on hold for a couple hours. I woke up to a car that got broken windshield there. So we both had rough starts to the day, but it's only going to get better here as we go forward. I got this question, I guess, and both Gager and Maddie can chime in. Is Lamar versus Mahomes, is that the best QB rivalry right now in the NFL?
It's up there. I think because of the success that Joe Burrow's had against Pat Mahomes, I don't know. Do I put that ahead of Lamar? I think right now I do. It's still a great matchup, and I want to see. Just because of last year too, right? But I think when you really look at it, I think because obviously Patrick Mahomes has had some success, Joe Burrow's had success against Patrick Mahomes. I think I'd like to see that Bengals Kansas City Chiefs matchup even more.
Yeah, I know Maddie's super busy, so I don't know if he can chime in right now. But Maddie, if you can, just give me a thumbs up.
What do you want to know?
Oh my God!
Just wait till tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah. Lamar versus Mahomes, is that the best QB rivalry for you in the NFL?
No, because it's one-sided right now.
Yeah.
Well, for a Ravens fan, it's not there. I don't know if it may be the best. Like I look at there and I go, Patrick Mahomes versus Josh Allen is up there. Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes is up there. It's got to start with Patrick Mahomes, but I think you're adding any of those three. But yeah, I think you can maybe put Joe Burrow a little bit. I just feel like maybe I'm mistaken here, but I feel like the Bengals actually have done relatively well against the Chiefs over the last few seasons.
Yeah,
Burrow's found a way to get the wins.
Exactly.
That's why that one then maybe is up there for me. But Allen and Mahomes too. Like we're looking at this one, I think, because it was the AFC Championship game this year or this past season. But the year before, the team that took out the Bills was, well, the last 2 years has been the Chiefs taking out the Bills, I believe it is. So Allen versus Mahomes to me is there as well.
I like that matchup too. I don't mind that.
We're going to see
they had that legendary game where they went back and forth. One of the best football games ever, in my opinion. Just
and we're going to get our first look at Mr. Henry there in the backfield with Lamar. Run some RPOs. That's what I think is, for me on the Ravens side, is the most fascinating, is how those two are going to work together, how the Chiefs defense going to be, adjusting to that, preparing for that. So it's going to be a fun game. Gets going at 6:20 to kick off the season, and the Chiefs are going for something that's never been done, the three-peat.
Yeah,
and it's coming up in our NFL predictions, and looking at all the teams, like they have a real shot here. They're still one of, if not the top team.
Yeah, you'd have to. I mean, looking at the odds at CoolBet, they're still one of the favorites, right? And it's possible. It's always funny when I hear people like they win the championship and right away they start saying, "Well, we got a chance for a three-peat here." Like they're already thinking about it. To me, I'd be too ensconced in the celebrations right then. But no, this is. Again, this is not that Patrick Mahomes, I was hearing, like I think it was Zig saying, he's done everything. This guy basically has a yellow jacket at this point, right? And all these other avenues of business opportunities, he's done it all. But he still has that fire, still wants to increase his legacy. I think that just the fact that he obviously looking up to Tom Brady probably as a young guy, seeing what that's the standard of greatness, right? And when that's a pretty high standard.
And Zig brought up a good point yesterday as well, where you said Lamar, like it's time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's funny because here with the hockey team, we're like, you got to win one like soon. And for Lamar, I think time's ticking as well, even though he's not that old. But like every year you think they're going to take the next step, and it's Chiefs and Mahomes kind of putting an end to that right away. So I think for Lamar, this is a big, big year. He's got one of the best running backs in the game. I love the Flowers kid there. They got some excellent players on defense, even though they lost a few. I know they lost Joaquin to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's a hell of a linebacker. So it's going to be a fun game. Maybe we'll do. I know Matty doesn't do prediction, especially when it's his team.
So do this one. No, do you?
Which predictions?
No, like for the game tonight.
No, not a chance.
Yes.
What?
Not a chance.
Not even for your team?
I didn't even do. Actually, Huss never even asked me for the lock shop to make a prediction, so I didn't even have to do it there. Usually, I would do it on lock shop because I'm kind of forced to, because that's the basis of the show. Okay. I can't sit there on the lock shop and be like, I'm not making any predictions. But yeah, no, not a chance.
What if I go out there and
why would
off mic and I say, "Hey, Matty, seriously"?
I'll have my gut feeling. I ain't making a prediction.
Well, give me a gut feeling.
I'm scared about the Ravens. I'm scared that they're going to start 0-1. Oh. Actually, I think I have said they're going to start 0-1.
Yeah, you did. Well.
So I could say there's my prediction.
But are you excited about the two-pronged attack with Lamar and Henry now? Is that...
I'm not excited right now until I see an offensive line that could protect Lamar Jackson.
Okay. So you haven't changed since yesterday.
Look, here's the thing, Gage. They have like 3 new guys on the offensive line. I need to see through 2 or 3 weeks that they can protect Lamar Jackson, open holes for Derrick Henry. There's no point in getting excited about a quarterback and a running back if the O-line can't do their job. It starts in the trenches. So yeah, you could say I'm the same as yesterday, but it's being smart.
Okay. All right.
And being cautious and not getting my hopes up so they get dashed like they always do.
Big Uke says Prescott versus touchdowns is a good rivalry, and Allen versus playoff wins is also good. That's very good. Now let's switch gears here quickly. We'll have a lot more NFL predictions coming at 2:00, and we'll talk at 2:40 some more, and hopefully we can get Maddie to commit to a prediction there.
No.
Commonwealth Stadium upgrades, renovations. This story kind of dropped. Elksford, scout from Elksford kind of tweeted it out. Caught, I think, a lot of people by surprise there, but Gage, you obviously saw the pictures online. What do you think?
Well, this all started when I was kind of starting to think I need a better kitchen for my dogs, right? I'm looking at getting my first Michelin star at a concession. Actually, it's a Michelin star.
Michelin.
I just get a tire. But no, I like it. I think it's great. The what was it? The photos from the Metallica concert were it looked like a chicken farm in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little crowded, and it's due for an upgrade. With I know it's just recent success, and Edmonton it's such a summertime. We enjoy our sports. We enjoy getting outside, and I think because of winters are very difficult, we see the change in the light and even this morning the weather. It's a little bit cooler. We tend to get outdoors a little bit more, and obviously the product on the field or wherever has to be enjoyable. But I think that an upgraded facility would add to that for the fan to come out and enjoy the place.
And it is an old stadium, but we get awesome concerts out of it.
Yeah.
And listen, and it's funny, I'm going to say this. I was there for 2.5 years, but I was never on the concourse during games. So I don't know how, I know how bad it is during concerts, the lineups, everything. So football games, I think it's a little bit different.
It is a little bit different, yeah, but there's still the rush of the start of the game. It is a little packed, and it's going to be. That's understandable, but no, just the way it looks, right? Like just some of the amenities. You look at Mosaic; it's just it looks like a spaceship. It's just ridiculous, right?
Best stadium for me in the CFL.
Yeah, me too. And I've never been there, but just by watching it on TV. But I think as well, if once the actual player facilities, those types of things get upgraded, I think you can lure a lot more talent to your team when you can provide a lot of those other intangible types of things, workout facilities, dressing room amenities, all those other things that make your life a little bit easier as a professional athlete. That goes into the whole decisions of where guys want to go. Like I heard, and I cannot confirm or deny, but I believe it came down for Artemi Panarin between two teams of who he was going to go to, and it was the practice facilities.
Yeah, of course.
And he was like, "This is way better for me in New York," and that's why he made the decision.
I will say this though: the Elks dressing room is top notch. Like their facility for the players, and I've heard this directly from players that have come from other teams. Like it is an older. I was going to say barn, but that older stadium, but their facilities for the Edmonton Elks are top notch. Now we saw concessions, upgrades, bathroom. The thing I liked the most was the glass on top of the stadium. It gives it like a more modern look.
Yeah.
And just to add to that, it's approved by the city, but it would still need funding. So long ways to go on that. But with Larry Thompson in there now, I think these upgrades are a lot closer than we've ever been to upgrades.
That'd be great, man. New stadium, that's gonna.
But then you don't need a new stadium.
I know. Then you don't need it, and it's getting rid of the track too, right? Is it?
Oh, Maddie, I don't think that's possible.
The track is gone.
It's gone. Yes.
So that part, which actually was supposed to be a legacy from 2001, and now it's completely gone, which is somewhat sad. The only two ways you could deal with it is to get rid of it. You'd have to lower the field.
Yeah.
Which would naturally create more seats, which is the last thing Commonwealth needs right now, is more seats. The other thing, and I brought it up in the hangout, I've brought it up in the past because I've heard this is what Ed Hervey wanted when they last did some sort of renos, was to slide the turf west and have it up against the stands on the west side. So the home team, the Elks bench, would be right with the fans.
Yeah.
But the east side would be further away. So I don't know if you could deal with that. But there is, the only way you could do, I think it would be too costly to dig lower and lower. But the one thing I would think is, could you dig it lower and build suites on that level? Like they do, if you watch Cowboys Stadium, there's suites on field level. Mm-hmm. Could you move the suites down there? Could you take away the suites from the main concourse, put them there? And is that your way of getting away from, where you're lowering the field a bit? But even then, the people are far away.
Yeah.
everyone else. You have to lower it, build, and I don't know if there's a way, like if you could get rid of seats up higher or something, but that'd be the only way around it.
One part that I like, and this is just me, every other stadium in the CFL, you're really close to the fans.
I know.
Like incredibly close. And that could lead to trouble at times. I never saw it. But the one thing I do like, and it's because you're a little bit further from the fans.
Okay.
Like there's not that connect, right? But for some, they want that, right? They want to be right behind the players' bench. But if you go out east and even Mosaic and the Winnipeg Stadium,
they're right on top.
They're right on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the rinks or whatever that I played in where they kind of the seats were angled away and far away. It wasn't the same as when it was more like cathedral where it goes like straight up. You felt like people were on top of you, right? It was it was much more enjoyable to play in, I think. But yeah, it's I mean, I was at that track and field World Championships back in 2001, and that was great. But a lot of the appeal is like I was right there on the track, that you could really, when you see professional athletes that close, and seeing, you could feel like the speed, or if you could feel the hits, you're so close to them at that point. It makes it provides a completely different fan experience. Oh,
it does. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, how quickly they can turn this around, if they get the funding, obviously. But the Commonwealth Stadium, I think we can all agree, is in need of some upgrades for sure, and they can continue to have great football games there, great concerts coming to town, because Metallica, Pink were just outstanding. You saw the crowds, Gage.
It was great.
They were great. We got to get to a break because we got Ian Herbers coming up, head coach of the Alberta Golden Bears men's hockey team. We will get into the Elks have also placed a bid to host the 2026 Grey Cup. Perfect timing for us, eh?
All right.
That would be absolutely amazing. Maddie, last time they hosted 2018?
Yeah.
That was a good time. Good time. All week hitting the parties and the different events, and to the lead up to the game was just fantastic. So
maybe I'll try sluice juice for the first time.
Yeah, I've never tried.
We might still have some in the fridge.
Oh.
Or I have some at home I could bring in.
Jesus.
I haven't tried it either, so maybe it's something we'll do here to send some good juju to the Edmonton Elks to get the 2026 Grey Cup, because they're up against the other city here in Alberta, Calgary. Okay. So we'll see what happens there. But coming up next, Ian Herbers, head coach of the Alberta Golden Bears men's hockey team, joins us here on EST Afternoons. But first up, here's Matthew Wanek with a sports update.
NFL season kicks off in Kansas City as the Chiefs will play host to the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. You can watch the game with Lieutenant Eric at Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Fort Road, kickoff 6:20. The Chiefs will be without one of their superfans as Chief Saholic has been sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison after committing a string of armed robberies across the United States. Toronto Blue Jays are off today before they open up a series in Atlanta tomorrow against the Braves. 2 games already underway in the majors. The Reds lead the Astros 1-0. That one in the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 9th, Twins lead the Rays 4-3. Coming up next, University of Alberta Golden Bears men's hockey coach Ian Herbers joins Hernan, Salas, and Joaquin Gage. I'm Adam Wanek. You're up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Get ready, Edmonton. The moment you've been waiting for is here. It's time to celebrate the best of the best with the Estes as we honor everything from Edmonton Sports Talk's incredible first year. Join us on September 17th at Metro Cinema for an unforgettable night of excitement, laughter, and recognition. Tickets are just $10. Secure your spot by emailing Matt at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And after the show, let's keep the party going at Hudson's White Ave for the official after party. Mark your calendar, grab your tickets, and get ready to celebrate the best moments of EST. It's the Estes, September 17th.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088. or go to jameshbrown.com.
There's still time to book your tournament at the Ranch Golf and Country Club.
As one of Alberta's top tourney courses, the Ranch makes hosting fun and easy for any group or business. No matter how unique or unusual, they'll accommodate your vision for an event no one will soon forget.
Start planning your tournament today at their beautifully landscaped course on the outskirts of West Edmonton. On-site event coordinators are here to help, but hurry, availability is limited and booking fast.
Visit theranchgolf.com.
.125 on this Thursday afternoon, EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, static free since 23. If that song doesn't get you going,
Wow.
Gator, holy smokes. Maddie, what was that? That was good.
A band, I think a local band, Silence the Machine. They're one of the bands that reached out and said we could play some of their music. So that one was, I think, Shallow Grave. So we've got Silence the Machine, we got Revolution Engine, a couple songs from them that we've added to our library here. Both a little more on that heavy metal stuff.
Okay.
That gets the people going.
But if anyone wants has any music, if you're in a band or know a good band and they want to give us the rights here at Edmonton Sports Talk to start playing a little bit more music, let me know. Matt at EdmontonSportsTalk.com or business at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. And yeah, they were one of the first to get to us. So you'll hear a little more of Silence the Machine and Revolution Engine here on EST, along with Whale and the Wolf, our house band.
I like
Yes, Will and the Wolf. Shout out to all the Will and the Wolf members. But we're now joined by Ian Herbers, head coach of the Alberta Golden Bears men's hockey team. Ian, thank you for taking the time this afternoon to join us. First of all, I just want to talk about your trip to Belfast there with a couple of non-conference games against the Carleton Ravens and Belfast Giants. How was that trip?
A lot of miles, but a really good trip. The guys had a good time, got to see some of the sites. Obviously, two very good games. Had a chance for everybody to play one. Some guys played two of the games. Carleton's a young team as well, so it was good competition there. And Belfast had a mature pro veteran lineup, and they're a little bit shorthanded, but they were very good, very poised with the puck, very skilled, and made you pay when you made mistakes. So it was good learning for our guys to be pushed, challenged, put in different situations, and then at the same time be able to enjoy some of the sights in Belfast. And we had a day in Dublin as well.
Herbie, Joaquin Gage here, former teammate, carried you for better part of 2 seasons. How was it going back into the old rink in Belfast? I was just actually showing the guys a picture of the conga line. You were actually filed right in behind me and my wife Megan. Did it bring back any of those old memories at all of winning that game?
Well, I was surprised nobody fell into the ocean on the ferry ride back. The fans obviously started very early, enjoyed the game, and it was a good trip, really good trip home. I was talking to there were still a few people around from the Belfast Giants organization that were still there, so I made sure I rubbed it in. I didn't realize we we didn't beat Belfast that entire year, and then got to the championship game in the Challenge Cup, and we beat them 5-0. So it was a good trip. Good to be back in that building. It's a great building, 10,000 seat rink. Belfast were fantastic hosts. They treated us very well. We had some practice time. Obviously, the 2 games, good crowds for both games. Even the game against Carleton, where Belfast wasn't playing, we still had a good crowd. So it was good to be back in that building. A lot of energy and a good way to start the season.
Herbie, let's go to the start of the season here. Obviously, usually the summertime involves some recruitment, getting some players in. What can we look forward to with the Bears lineup this year? Who should we be keeping our eye on a little bit? And overall, how do you think the start of the year is going to go for the U of A Golden Bears Hockey Club?
Well, we hope it starts well. We had a very strong recruiting class this year. Stan and I were very busy starting, I guess, December, January, talking to recruits from the Western Hockey League, even some from Ontario League and the Quebec League as well. So bringing in a large crew this year. We've got, I think, 5 or 6 forwards, 3 or 4 defensemen, 2 goalies. So on that side of it, very good. Obviously, we have our veteran players returning, like Florchuk and Prokop and Smallwood and the Hall brothers and McLennan and Aiden de la Gorgondier, Gustafson. So they've, those guys are always fun to watch. But with our new players, and that I thought Tyler Palmer, I'll go right to the goaltender for you, that we brought in this year. I thought he was very good on the 2 games in Belfast. Played very well, was very good in rebound control, made some big saves for us. At the back end, Serge Lajoie, who I played with, his son Marc Lajoie is on the team. I thought he's been very good and shown a lot of promise and upside, a lot of potential to keep developing and keep moving on in his career. Up front, Shashan Shigurl has been very good. He was flying around, had some poise. I think he scored our first 2 goals, or 2 of the goals against Carleton, the overtime winner for us. Played very well, and Nash has been good. Levench has been good. So I've been excited with our lineup so far. Mixed and matched the lineups or lines today in practice to try some different combinations. We'll go with different combinations on Saturday's game against Mount Royal at Clare Drake Arena. But right now I'm excited about all the guys and watching all the guys. I think we'll be a lot deeper than we were last year and talented at both ends of the rink.
Ian, this year we're going to see some divisions changes here. We're going to go with a division of 4 and a division of 5 teams. Alberta will be with McEwen, Saskatchewan, Regina, and Manitoba. What are your thoughts on this change? And does it really affect how you go about things?
Well, it's an unbalanced schedule, an unfair schedule. So it's not the best, but it is what it is. So we've got to make the most of it. So it doesn't matter, I guess, really for us, because we only play the 28 games, and anybody that's been to our games or seen our schedules realize that every game is a playoff game. And last year there was only a point separating our 2 points, first and second, and then second and third and fourth and fifth. So every night's an important night, and getting 2 points is huge and key. Finding ways, if you're not playing well, to get a point or 2 points is big. So we've got to be ready to look after what we need to look after. Our specialty teams need to be good. 5-on-5 play obviously will have to be good. We play the other teams in the other division only once, and they'll either be in their building or our building. But the 2 Calgary teams will still do a home and home, so we'll only have the 1 game at Clare Drake against Calgary and Mount Royal. But this year now we'll see Saskatchewan on 3 weekends, and 2 of those weekends will be in Clare Drake, and we'll see McEwen 3 times as well, 3 weekends. So it's a different schedule, but like it has been in the past, we've got to make sure we're looking after our business and just worry about what we're doing, getting better every day, improving every day as individuals and as a team.
Herbie, you mentioned just the recruiting off the top. I was always interested with the expansion of the different leagues. Now, are you still mostly focused on Western League talent, or are you looking in other places too for possible players coming to the Bears?
We're always looking all over the place. I'll get a ton of emails during the season from players from Europe, players from Ontario, players from out east, players from the States. So we've had a defenseman come play for us from Sweden. We had one from, I'm drawing a blank where it is, but Eastern Europe as well, come and play for us. So we've had different players from different locations. When I was coaching in Saginaw, I sent Jesse Gimlet, who ended up playing a little bit with the Oilers farm system, to the Bears and that. And so he had a great 4 years here with the program. So we're always looking for a diamond in the rough, maybe somebody that, didn't play a ton of major junior, but has a ton of potential to grow, loves the game, passion, wants to work at it and keep getting better. I always have time for those kind of players. So we'll always keep a look at them, bring in a few tryout guys, I guess I'll say, at the start of the year and see how they do and see where they can fit in. But a lot of our guys are still major league. The previous couple of years it was difficult. A lot of guys signing pro deals. This year we still had a number of our guys that we talked and recruited signing pro deals. So it's always a battle every year. First of all, finding players that are academically good enough to get into the U of A, and then meet what we're looking for as players.
Yeah, that's always a challenge to find the right type of player, but I think that breeds a really good type of player with the Golden Bears. So looking at the start of the season, obviously going up against Mount Royal here, who was, if I were to ask you, who do you look at as your top competition this year, or is there just so much parity right now that every game, like you mentioned, is just a playoff game and you're trying to just get points?
Well, anybody can beat any night, as you know, Gage. And everybody seems to play their best game against us and want to knock us off. And, they circle that weekend. So it's good. It makes us better. It makes sure we can't take a weekend off, a night off. We've got to be ready, and we've got to keep getting pushing better. When I first came back to coach the Bears, it was basically us in Saskatchewan. Every once in a while, Calgary, the Dinos would push us a little bit. But it was just basically a two-team race. The league has been way better the last couple years since I probably came back from the Oilers. UBC stepped up their program. Calgary is strong. Mount Royal's had some very good lineups, and then U of S is always difficult. So it's been those 5 teams pushing for the last couple of years, and this year Manitoba's had a really good recruiting class, so they'll be better than they were last year. And Zach Daly, Golden Bears alumni, I thought is doing a great job at McEwen. Every time we play them, it's tough to play against. So there is no easy nights. We got to make sure we come out, we're ready to play, set the tone and the pace, and get better.
Well, Herbie, I really appreciate you joining us here, and thanks for making me look so good for all those years playing. You were one of the reasons why I was so great over in Scotland. But
well, I know my feet are still sore from blocking all those shots and everything. But
stop it!
You saved me way more than I saved you.
Thanks, buddy. I can't wait to get down to Clare Drake sometime, and after the games, and we can have an in-depth discussion of how the games went. Good luck for the start of the season, and hopefully we'll do this again soon. Okay.
That'd be fantastic, Gage. Thank you.
Thanks. That's Ian Herbers, head coach of the University Golden Bears. He is a beast of a man. Yeah. And what a delight he was to have on defense in front of me. He was scary, man.
I remember him from the Oiler days, number 6.
Yeah. We called him the octopi because he would he would get his arm on you and stuff, and just bulldog strong. I remember he would ask me to come out sometimes for skates if a goalie was having a lab or something like that, and it would be really hard. I would be bagged afterwards, but they were funny because they were doing testing, like physical testing, and the grip strength.
Yeah,
and they're all doing it or whatever, and I don't know what it was out of 100, and guys are 80, 90. And they're like really getting into it. Herbie grabs it, boom, like he's not even trying. It's 100.
Wow.
And he goes, "Oh, maybe I should have used my right hand." Right. But yeah, I mean, Maddie, you can vouch for it. There's nothing quite like a Golden Bears game on a Saturday night going down to the Clare Drake. It's a great rink.
A nice hot dog, craft beer, and some good hockey. And that barn is just top.
It's rocking. It's rocking. It's too bad they don't do it anymore, but I remember the Oilers rookies played the Golden Bears, and that was a huge game. It was
awesome.
It was tough, man. I remember playing in that. There's pressure because you're supposed to beat them.
Yeah.
But they're good, and these guys are trying really, really hard. So, if you this winter, if you're looking for some entertainment, especially on the weekends, you heard Ian Herbers talk about it, the parity of the league. I believe it's Sven Butenshaw, old Oiler.
Yes, Reed just told me that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That coaches the UBC team. Like Herbie mentioned, it was Saskatchewan and U of A. Those games where I would make a note to try to go to because there was so much, the animosity between the teams was so good. But no, it's I'm going to make a distinct effort to get down there because it's a lot of fun.
We need to create a EST night out at a Bears game.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And I think we should get some of these players on. Like there's, a lot of people talk to me about, their kids in hockey or what path they should do. And, everyone progresses at a different level. And I think the fact that if you can, A, get the grades to go into the U of A, and B, play in a program where you have a coach that has world experience at every level, NHL, European, he coached in the old IHL for a while. He's going to give you the best chance or best opportunity to maybe sign a professional deal.
Sven Butenschon Oilers acquired him on deadline day.
Oh, did they?
I remember young Hernan was so disappointed. That was the only move they made.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Awesome guy. But yeah, man, sorry, Hernan. I'll introduce you to him.
I know he's a great guy and really tall.
Really tall.
Yeah. Really blonde.
Really blonde.
Yeah. I got to throw this in before we go to break, and Maddie's probably not going to be a fan of this, but Cristiano Ronaldo has just scored his 900th goal of his career.
Wow.
Club and country combined. Like that, how did he score 900 goals?
Because you score against no ones.
I thought he wasn't listening.
I thought that was going to fly under the radar there.
The World Cup qualifying, Euro qualifying, he plays a bunch of nobodies for a lot of the times.
And he takes a lot of
Maltas of the weir, and he goes.
And
4
he takes
goals
a lot
there.
of PKs.
Who did he
right?
score against today?
Guam.
Let me look it up real quick. I like when you're always doing the kind of easy trivia and you always throw Guam in there.
I always throw Guam in there.
I'm just checking for Matty here who he scored. So Croatia, actually.
Oh.
Okay, I'll give him that one. I'll give him that one. But otherwise, it's against like Estonias of the world and Luxembourgs, and of course, he's going to score a bunch of goals.
Oh man!
Oh, and he's scoring in Saudi Arabia. That's a real tough competition over the last 2 seasons.
Hey, Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the last World Cup in the opening game.
That's not the Pro League.
Oh, I'm talking country.
I'm talking pro. He's playing in Saudi Arabia now. His Pro League. He's playing against
900
nobodies.
goals is still 900 goals.
Yeah, when you're scoring against nobodies. How many World Cups?
He's got a Euro.
Yeah. And you want to know what happened in the Euro in that final? He got hurt in it. And he was pulled early.
That's true.
They won without him.
They didn't need
Jesus. Yeah, I remember that, actually.
I knew I should have.
And he doesn't look like he's a good team guy, but whatever.
The reason Portugal can't do anything anymore. The reason Portugal couldn't do anything in this last Euro was because they have to go through Ronaldo, because otherwise Ronaldo gets all pissy.
Yeah.
If Ronaldo was a team player, he would come off the bench in the final 30 minutes, and Portugal would be tough to deal with. But he has to start the full 90. The play has to go through him, and they can't get it done. It's easy to stop Portugal.
All right.
All right.
How many goals did he score in the Euros?
I don't know.
None.
He had 0 goals in the Euro when they won?
This past time.
Oh, okay.
This past
But he's
one.
older. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if he was a team player...
And he got benched, didn't he?
To that World Cup. And then the manager got fired so that they could put someone in who will play Ronaldo. If Portugal wanted to actually do something, Ronaldo was actually a team guy, he would come off the bench and he would be an amazing... I would love Ronaldo for 30 minutes if I was Portuguese. But he can't. He has to play the full 90. And he can't do it anymore.
Another McFan says, "Ha ha, Maddie's awesome." I love. I know
heated
exactly how to get Maddie.
Oh yeah,
Trey Ford and Cristiano Ronaldo.
Slide that in there. Here.
All right, coming up next, it's the Red Light District. I don't know what to expect from our guy here, Joaquin Gage. The props are on their way. We'll have them. I had a cool horn to play during, but this mixer right here is not set up, so we'll have to wait till next week. But coming up next, it is the Red Light District with Joaquin Gage. But first, here's Matthew Iwanek and a sports update.
The NFL season kicks off in Kansas City as the Chiefs play host to the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. You can watch the game with Lieutenant Eric at Centric Casino Sports Bar in Loungeport Road. Kickoff at 6:20. The Chiefs will be without their superfan Chiefsaholic for quite some time as he was sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison after committing a string of armed bank robberies across the United States. Toronto Blue Jays are off today before they open up a series in Atlanta tomorrow. 2 games already final in the majors. The Reds got past the Astros 1-0, while the Twins beat the Rays 4-3. 1 game currently underway in the top of the first. It is runless between the Mariners and the Athletics. Coming up next, more of EST Afternoons with Hernan, Salas, and Joaquin Gage. I'm Matt Iwanek. You're up to date.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, ParkMazda.com.
At A&W, you can start the morning off right with a regular coffee and an egger of your choice for just $4.99. Bacon and egger, or sausage and egger, on a seeded bun, or an English muffin? The choice is yours. But we know it'll be tasty either way. And to make matters even more delicious, this offer is available all day. But don't snooze on this deal. An egger and a regular coffee for only $4.99 is a limited time price. Available at participating A&W restaurants in Greater Edmonton.
We'll figure it out for next week. 1:45. Good afternoon. Welcome to EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Hit us up on the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat on YouTube. I did see my nephew chirp Maddie, but the message kind of disappeared. I think he felt bad, but he is a big Ronaldo Real Madrid guy. So
and he doesn't know what he's talking about with that stuff. Him and I at one of the EST watch parties at Hudson's, we got into it about Ronaldo. Yeah, how many goals, Luciano?
Yeah.
That's the Euros. How many?
I mean, that's still damn impressive to score 900 goals in soccer because, you know, the narrative always is there's no goals in soccer. Ronaldo has scored 9. I'm intrigued to see what Messi's at. If anyone knows out there, please send it to the Paris Jewelers.
He's a little bit less. I know that.
Or YouTube Nasty Chat. What's that?
He's a little bit less. He
has to be because I think
but it's close.
I wouldn't miss that, like if he hit 900.
They had that, you know, those side-by-sides where it shows the goals and there's that graph that keeps moving. Messi started catching him later on.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what exactly it is.
All right, Gager, this is your time to shine. It's time for the red light district. I just want to see what the plans are for when this comes on. Like, and it's just to kind of add to it. It's just have the red light, hit the lights. And it's kind of going to just be you kind of dancing around and getting ready for your segment. And maybe we'll play that horn that I've been trying to play for the last 2 days. But
Sweet.
I can't seem to figure out this system right now. But
I think Messi's at 865-ish.
Oh, okay.
Looking at Wikipedia, I believe.
Once Maddie has more time and he's not the busiest guy here, he's going to be able to show me a lot more. But Gager, take it away.
Well, Hernan, for the first red light district, obviously this is going to change over the time, but I tried to find something that a man of my vintage might go through at certain times of his life, and something that, you know, happened to me the other night that was a little bit peculiar. And I'm just looking out for the well-being of all, you know, 50-year-old men in the middle of the night. I woke up the other day and I felt a little bit dehydrated, so I got up and went downstairs, got some cold water, and I saw one of my kids had left out some homemade cookies made by my mother-in-law. And these are basically massive chocolate chips with a little bit of cookie in there, right? So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm a little hungry too. So in my fatigue and my fatigue state with being dehydrated, I grabbed some water and took this cookie back up into my bed. All right. And I just crunched this and fell back asleep. Alarm went off, got to get up for the morning show, and got to the bathroom and looked down at my arms, and there was it turns out it was melted chocolate. But at the time, I did not think that this substance was melted chocolate. I'm like, what is going on? And I look in the mirror, and it's all over my face. I reach behind me, and did I have an accident at night? And I run to the bed, and there's chocolate all over the place. Somehow, I had fallen asleep, I think, with this cookie still in my mouth. and proceeded to spread chocolate all over my sheets and my hands and arms, and then thinking I basically pooped the bed in the morning. So just a note to everybody, don't eat chocolate chips at night, especially when you're tired. Just stick to the water if you're over 50, because I almost had a heart attack the next morning.
You got to go with the coconut water.
Yeah,
That's excellent for hydration. But the wife, how upset was she?
Oh, she doesn't know. I didn't tell her.
Well, she knows now.
No, well, she'll probably find out. But I got those my wife and I, because we lived in Europe for so long, we do something different. Like our beds we use the dual comforters. You ever go to Europe and you go to the beds, there's two comforters. There's not just one huge blanket.
Okay.
So we don't, like I'm wrapped like a burrito at night, right? Okay. So this, that little section that you have with your partner, that the no-fly zone, it was awful. There was all that space and it was cold. So we adopted the two comforters. Game changer at night. So king-size bed, single duvets.
So this happens, and obviously the wife doesn't know. So you put everything into the wash right away?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then the wife just thinks you're being a great hubby.
He's probably a sweaty mess last night. Then I run hot. So I just threw that in. No one's the wiser.
No one's the wiser.
Yeah.
But how long was the fear? Like a quick 10 seconds? Like
I didn't want to explain myself, right? So it was secretive. Let's just say that. So she doesn't know that I spread chocolate all over my side of the bed. But in Europe, it was also, we have the king size mattress, but it was just two singles or two doubles, right? Pushed together usually in Europe. And my wife always had a saying, if I get to the crack, it's time to go back, because there'd be that crack in the bed. But
we got a Gene's Apprentice on the Nasty Chat says, blame the dog.
Still, lot to explain. How did he get a cookie, right? So she would have known it was me. But
so Joe Belineski and Jen Cool on the Nasty Chat also say separate blankets are the way to go. I just find that weird,
dude. But do you share the blankets, or
we share? Yeah.
Are you a blanket hog though?
I am, though, because I'm always cold.
Yeah.
And then the girlfriend's always hot, so it's like... But we don't have separate blankets.
You got to go separate blankets, man. Trust me. It's unbelievable.
Huh. And was that your choice or the wife?
No, it was a mutual decision. We got home from, I think it was, like the first year, and it was a tug-of-war every night for these blankets. So then we just said, you know what? Let's just go get two separate duvets and do it that way. And it's we've never looked back.
Michiar says separate beds are better. Hello.
Yeah, that works too.
That's only when you're in the doghouse, right? You jump on the couch or the spare. Oh man.
Yeah, Spud from Trainspotting. Yeah, that's a terrible scene. Terrible scene. Not to that extent, but enough to question your life choices if that happened. I was really thinking of what culinary choices I had that night, but no, it all worked out in the end.
So if you have separate blankets, there's no cuddling then.
Oh, there's cuddling.
Okay.
Yeah, but we're not huge cuddlers. Like we don't. We're past the spooning stages. All right.
Well, how long have you been with your wife?
So married almost 20. Together 25.
Okay.
42 with the wind chill.
Oh man. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Robin the Grove says, I sleep on top of the covers while the wife is a burrito. See, I'm like that.
Yeah.
I'm always cold and the AC is always on in her place, so I'm like I have to go onto the balcony to warm up. That's
really?
How cool our apartment is.
Okay, yeah, no, that's I'd try it, man. Go get yourself a sweet duvet and you'll be yeah. You'll thank me.
That's interesting. Separate blankets. I never thought of that.
No, it's the Europeans got it right, man. They I know there's a little bit more. I hate making the bed because then there's the two duvets and the stuff, but it's my wife has a weighted blanket now too. I don't understand that. It feels like I'm about to get an X-ray all the time if I'm under that thing. But no, it's trust me. You want to, if you're, I understand. There's a lot of people that want to cuddle and be close. But again, I run way too hot, and she's just like, you're disgusting. And then I have to move back, but then I have my own comforter.
The cuddling days are over. There's a new movie on Netflix called Incoming, and it's about kids. And and we just watched it yesterday, and there's a scene about pooping. It's pretty gross. Yeah. I won't spoil it for anyone. Just be ready.
Yeah. Chocolate chips are gross.
What were you going to say?
No, I was just said Jason LeDuc. Snuggling in bed is great, but at a certain point, when you start becoming a sweaty big spoon, that's basically what I do. A big sweaty spoon.
I'm always warm, but I'm not a big guy. I don't sweat a lot.
Oh, really?
So
I do need the new mattress, though. It's about that time to get the new one.
Maddie, are you a burrito, or are you kind of on top of the covers kind of guy?
I'm as warm as possible.
Yeah. Let's see.
I like. There's points where I could be like, you won't even see my body. I have pillow over my head and blankets as far up as possible because I am fully warm and like.
You're like Ferris Bueller's buddy.
I need to be toasty.
Yeah. See,
I like being toasty.
I'm the same way, man.
Well, you are toasty with one blanket. Why do you need that? There's all that. How are you?
It's not toasty. Like under the cover? No.
Because you have the sheet, right? You're under the sheet.
No, I don't have sheets. It's just
sheets, comforter on top.
Yeah.
And then right now, I actually have another blanket going.
On top of that?
It's a little cool outside now, so I sleep with that. And I'm nice and warm, and I'm toasty. It's wonderful.
Prince and the Pea over there. No, all you need is the one duvet. A good duvet, that's all you need.
I could sleep anyway, though.
Yeah.
If I could fall asleep without a blanket, I could still do that. I just like being warm.
Okay.
That's why it's like I like when it's 35 degrees outside. I just want to be as hot as possible.
I don't want it too warm when I'm sleeping, but it's I need my own blankets. I'm like that guy from Charlie Brown.
Jen says, my hubby and I have been together for 16 years, married for 6. Try it, Hernan. I don't think that's gonna fly with the girlfriend, so I'm not even gonna go there right now.
What, to have your own blankets?
Yeah.
You don't know that. Maybe she's wanting that.
No.
Oh yeah, you ask.
That's going to wrap up hour one here. It's been a fun first hour here on this wonderful Thursday. It is hot out there, Gage. You're talking about, it's hockey season and the weather starts changing. Right now, it's like the CFL starting all over again. We got some June weather here. It's Isn't
it notoriously always like this in Edmonton, though? Like
in September?
Yeah, we just get that blast. Because I remember coming to Edmonton for camp all the time. And it was always really dry and really hot, and it seems like it's back to that. Like training camp was always, the ice was a little, if we weren't at Northlands or Rexall or whatever and practicing somewhere else, the ice would always be not as great because it was so hot.
So hot. I love it though. I'm going to enjoy these days because before you know it, we're not going to see this kind of weather for 6, 7, 8 months. So it's all gonna go. It's not downhill because we get so much sports, which is kind of evens itself out. You get crappy weather, but you get so much entertainment when it comes to the sports world. We had Ian Herbers on in the first hour. We also had a very interesting first edition of Red Light District that led to a blankets conversation. Coming up in hour 2, NFL predictions up next. We want to hear from you as well. Hit us up on the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, and on the Nasty Chat. We'll also be joined by fellow Chilean member of the media. We're taking over, man. We're taking over. Geez. Derek Van Dies from NHL.com. He is up there in New York. We'll find out what he is up to. In a 240, we'll recap, and we'll talk a little bit about the Grey Cup bid for the Edmonton Elks for 2026. That's all coming up in hour 2 here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
2 guys and a goalie.
I don't mind analytics. I just don't like when people are like only analytics and only this, and they're like, oh, you can't do that, guy. And so he's horrible. And I'm like, let's watch the tape. And then let's look at those analytics and say why some of that stuff happened before we make our decisions.
Cass is good in the sheets. The Excel spreadsheets.
I was going to say, Cass, what do you think of analytics? By the way, this episode will be called Cassalytics. Hey, I think it's got to be.
Yeah. 2 guys and a goalie with Gager, Cassian, and Nielsen. Tuesday and Thursdays at noon. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of The Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Few of us can say that we're over 60 and still hot, but Mr. Mike's Burger can. And to celebrate over 60 years of Mr. Mike's famous burger, you're invited to taste history for only $8.99 at Mike Burger Madness. Savor the original flame-grilled Mike Burger on their signature garlic French loaf for a limited time. Dine-in only price of just $8.99. Sides extra. It's Mr. Mike's Mike Burger Madness, and you'd be mad to miss it. Offer ends September 30th. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
NFL season kicks off today as the Kansas City Chiefs will play host to the Baltimore Ravens. It's a rematch of the AFC Championship game from last season. You can watch the game with Lieutenant Eric at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge off Fort Road. Kickoff is 6:30. Toronto Blue Jays, they are off today before they open up a series in Atlanta tomorrow against the Braves. 2 games already final in the majors. Twins got past the Rays 4-3, while the Reds shut out the Astros 1-0. 2 games currently underway. The Mariners have a 2-0 lead over the Athletics. That one in the top of the 7th. Second, and in the top of the first, Diamondbacks lead the Giants 1-0. And UEFA Nations League action. Portugal, they lead Croatia 2-1. Ronaldo scoring his 900th career goal, both combined between international and club. Coming up next, it's the second hour of EST Afternoons with Hernan, Salas, and Joaquin Gage. I'm Adam Wanek. You're up to date.
EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Reminder, you can listen live on edmontonsports.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, or watch us on the EST YouTube channel. You can also hit us up, Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999, or on the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Of course, we're coming to you live here from the William Huff Studios in the west end of the city. We just had a very interesting conversation about blankets and cuddling. And before we get to our NFL prediction, Joe from Stoney says cuddling is for kids. And then Jason and Leduc says snuggling in bed is great, but at a certain point when you start becoming a sweaty big spoon, it's time to move on, right?
Yeah, no, there's a lot in the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-99. You can chime in on this. Mike from Calgary, duo duvets for the win. Raider Jesse also.
Raider Jesse, yeah.
We've had separate comforters since the day I moved in. I don't understand how people live sharing just one. Yeah, there's a lot of love. And even Bones. Like, I love to give a little back sometimes. You know, and Bones says here, I got an excuse for next time I poop the bed. So I don't know if that's a good thing, Bones, but trying to explain to it's chocolate chip, not poop, that's going to be tough.
That's an interesting conversation with your significant other. With the start of the NFL season just hours away, Baltimore Ravens are visiting the Super Bowl champ Kansas City Chiefs, who are going for the three-peat. Never been done in the NFL. And they have as good a chance as anyone going forward here, the Kansas City Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to have some NFL predictions. Maddie, I don't know if you had time to look at the categories. I don't know if you want to chime in on this. It's okay if you don't, because I know you've been incredibly busy this morning and this afternoon. But just give me a thumbs up if you're good. If not,
I've done zero research into this.
We have a lot of categories. I sent this to Gage, and he wasn't too happy with me. But we're going to start off with We got 2, 4, about 6, 7 categories. You can chime in as well. Paris Jewelers inbox and on the Nasty channel. Let us know what who your pick is going to be. Let's start with this one. We'll finish with the Super Bowl, but we'll start with Offensive Player of the Year, Mr. Joaquin.
Offensive Player of the Year. You know what? I'm kind of going off last year a little bit, and it's partly recency bias a little bit because I did watch the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders documentary, and they were so excited going up against the Green Bay Packers. But Jordan Love, I think, seeing what he was able to do, the points he was putting up, I don't know. I think there might be something there. It might be a little bit of a long shot from what we went over the odds on Coolbet yesterday, but he's got my vote for Offensive Player.
He's only getting better, and that's why when the Niners made the Super Bowl last year, I didn't think they were going to win because they should have lost to Detroit if it wasn't for Dan Campbell, and they should have lost to Green Bay.
Yeah.
Jordan Love in that first half was outstanding.
Unreal.
I don't know what they did in that second half to let them crawl back in, but I like that pick. I'm going to go, and it's a little biased, but this guy's just an absolute beast, the best at his position. I'm going to go with San Francisco 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey. I know he was a little bit injured during training camp, didn't play a lot, so he's coming in fresh. I'm a little concerned about early on for this team just because they had so many key players out, but I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. Next up.
Surprise.
Defensive Player of the Year, Gage.
Defensive player, I just wanted to make Matawanek happy with this one, actually, because but by all accounts is a beast on defense. Kyle Hamilton of the Ravens.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
He's, I think I texted Maddie last year. I was watching a Baltimore. I've watched a few, and we had a bet Baltimore, San Francisco, which I lost. And he's just all over the field.
Yeah.
Like he makes plays. Big hits. He's a turnover machine. I just absolutely love him. Maddie, you like that pick?
Sure.
Love it.
Maddie's just too.
Yeah,
he's tapping out. He's tapping. I like it. I'm gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys number 11, Michael Parsons.
Yeah,
this guy's an absolute beast. I was just in there during prep watching some videos from him last year. He's all over the field. And I don't know how good the Dallas Cowboys are going to be because they're such a wild card every year. There's so much. Like I said, we can have 2 segments talking about the Dallas Cowboys, right? So you don't know how Dak's going to be, CD, but Parsons, I think, regardless if the team's really good, mediocre, or bad, I think he's going to get his tackles, he's going to get his plays, and he's going to get the recognition that he's going to be the best when it comes to the Defensive Player of the Year. This one's interesting. We're just going to go with an Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, no, and I was influenced by our guest yesterday. Zig was talking about him, but Caleb Williams, Zig was glowing about him, thinking that there's definitely something there for a rookie to. I mean, it's going to be tough. You don't see many rookies at that position shine through, but I think there's a. I'm just going by Zig essentially with this pick.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
like and. I mean, that team could be, up and coming this year. I mean, they got some good weapons there. They got more. Was it Zig that said, or maybe it was Maddie? Yeah, I think Maddie said yesterday you would have liked to see Justin Fields stay and kind of trade that pick and help out in other areas. But I'm intrigued to see this guy, Caleb Williams. Like, we all know his issues in college where he wouldn't do media and kind of shunned them out and all that. So he's not going to be able to do that in Chicago.
No.
That's for sure. And like you said, Zig did pick him to be the most successful rookie. For my pick, I'm going to go to the receiver position. Tommy's team, Arizona Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's just an exciting player. Like I said, I tuned into college last year. He was always making big plays. The son of, obviously, the Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison from the Colts there. So I think this guy's going to have a big season. I'm a little scared because they're in the Niners division, and I do think Kyler Murray and those guys could take a step. I don't think they'll be as bad as they were last year, but this guy is just a human highlight reel, and I think he's going to do great, great things.
I remember reading an article about Marvin Harrison. It caught my eye because it said best hips in the league. I was like, best hips? What are they talking? But just so shifty. Like you thought you had him and he was gone. Like it was crazy.
He wasn't overly big.
No, he was small. He was quite slender, right? But best hips in the league.
This one's a fun one. There's not a lot. There's a few because we were looking at some options that some the NFL experts have as well. But comeback player of the year.
Yeah, and I know there's probably a lot of people that will go with the obvious pick if it works out. The he who must not be named usually on the show, but I went a different route. Didn't play in every game, got injured, had to take the rest of the year off. But Joe Burrow, I just think we talked about him yesterday. I think just the poise, the charisma of this, just the confidence of this guy. I think he's going to come back.
You love this guy.
Yeah, well, he does well against Mahomes, right?
Yeah.
It seems like he gets up for these big games. I remember that the national championship game when he won going up against Lawrence, right? And he dominated that game.
Yeah.
And that's when Lawrence was coming in and all the hype and everything and that he was going to win. I think it was back-to-back at that, if memory serves me correctly. But yeah, I got to go with Burrow. He's going to have a monster.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the guy that, he's not a fan favorite for many nowadays, but got hurt, in the second series last year.
Yeah.
And that team's, it's going to be a good team, but Aaron Rodgers, I think there's only really 2-3 options here. I saw one for Anthony Richardson, but I'm like, he barely played. He's a young guy. Sure, it's a comeback, but he hasn't really played in the NFL, right? So for me, it was between Rodgers and Burrow.
You're putting your hopes in all of mushrooms and and sensory deprivation chambers. Nice.
Yeah. So he's playing my Niners, so I'm hoping he gets off to a bad start. We'll see. Next up, we're going to go with Coach of the Year.
I'm going to go with the kneecap biter, Dan Campbell. I love when this guy speaks. He's very passionate, and what he's been able to do for a franchise. Like, this was as soon as he took over, he's going to develop a different type of culture. If you knock us down, we're getting right back up and punching you in the face. Some questionable decisions last year stopped them from proceeding in the playoffs. I think it's, at this point, if he can produce and get to the next level, it's a no-brainer. He's Coach of the Year.
You know what I find a little bizarre last year, and I already brought up that they should have beat the Niners. Like, he got praise for costing his team a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
I know, because hindsight's always 20/20. If those things work,
they work.
He's a genius.
Sure.
The fine line, right?
But if you're a player, you're like, yeah, I back my coach up. He's an awesome guy, but like, we could have just, not gone for it or kicked the field goal, and we'd be going because the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And everybody's praising Dan Campbell and saying, "Oh, look at the cojones on this guy." But for me, he cost the team that opportunity, and everybody says, "Well, they'll be back." There's no guarantee.
No.
Like, you see it in all sports.
But
yeah,
maybe he watched Tin Cup the night before or something.
And listen, I like the guy. I love his energy, and you can tell the team is just
they rally behind.
They'll run through,
and
through a wall.
That's part of it. I think even with those decisions, that's why you see them still behind him, because they love their guy, right?
And and in fairness, he owned it.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and say no. But and as a Niners fan, I'm glad he did, because it gave us the opportunity to go into the Super Bowl. I'm going to go with DeMeco Ryans of the Houston Texans. Obviously, again, a little bit biased because he was the D coordinator a couple of years ago on that great San Francisco 49ers team. And same thing, Gage. Similar to Dan Campbell, he motivates. He's a hell of a coach. You can tell the guys absolutely love him. He's jumping up with the players, celebrating.
Yeah.
He's getting in all the action. And I think he just has an awesome team, a young quarterback. He's got some wicked receivers. They brought in Diggs, and it's just going to be great. I think DeMeco Ryans is going to be the Coach of the Year. If not, I think, let's just put it this way. I think it's going to be this year. If not, he's going to win one before his career is over as a coach. Let's get to the fun stuff.
All right.
Super Bowl matchup. Well, let's start there.
Okay. So I have, for my Super Bowl matchup, I just think it's going to be a different one this year. I got Cowboys and Bills in the Super Bowl.
I love it, man.
It would have everyone talking. And look, both these teams are looking to get over that hump a little bit. Just looking at the landscape, I think that there's a possibility. You can't say there's not, but I'm going to go with Cowboys-Bills in the Super Bowl.
Okay, I'm going to go 49ers. I think they get back there. I think
Really?
I think they're far too talented not to. And they got that sour taste, and they've lost the last 2 Super Bowl appearances they've made to the Chiefs. I think they're going to be rolling there. I think they're going to have a slow start, but I think and the Chiefs did too last year, right? But as long as you get hot in the playoffs, that's all that matters. So I'm going to go with San Francisco 49ers on one side. On the other side, I just really like this team, and I just picked their coach to win Coach of the Year,
Okay.
Houston Texans.
All right. Aren't you a little bit worried about how the offseason, especially just up to training camp, went for the 49ers with
I am
holdouts?
concerned. Like Ayuk missed all of training camp. Trent Williams, their all-star left tackle, missed all of training camp. CMC missed due to injury. So, and this Brock Purdy stuff, like I think once we bring smoking heat into a segment, like Brock Purdy deserves a lot more respect than he gets, and I just don't get why there's so much hate towards him. I mean, he's just a little dude there, last pick of the draft, and he's just doing his thing. Now, does he have a talented team? Of course he does, but you still need to be accurate. You still need to be able to throw the ball longer than 10 yards, and he does that. So I think it's going to be San Francisco and the Houston Texans. I think that'd be a great Super Bowl, by the way.
That would be good.
And I am taking 49ers to win.
Are you?
And I'm going to be called the worst homer right now, but I am. Who are you picking between the Bills and Cowboys?
I think Bills finally get it done. Just the history there. How, like, Josh, it would be great for the city of Buffalo to finally. Sometimes you feel bad for a city, what they've had to go through.
And that's one, yeah.
And plus when they've had so much hope with that team, right?
Yeah.
I just, I look at certain teams and the parallels, like they had that powerhouse, and then, they lose some players, things look a little bit different. But I look back at the Washington Capitals when they won the Stanley Cup. They had a monster teams, and they actually, when you look at it, their roster wasn't as good as some of those other teams, but they had some experience and guys that have gone there and done some stuff. Then that's how I look at the Bills.
Yeah, okay. Super Bowl MVP?
Josh Allen.
I'm going to go Brock Purdy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 tutties. You heard it here first. Brock Purdy. Okay. And he's finally going to get some respect on that name. I got a really good one for comeback player of the year. What about Hamlin from Buffalo?
Yeah.
He's starting at safety, right?
I know. I just saw that too. I worry about that more than anything. It's
like every time you see him out there and just getting like contact, I think it's just human nature to worry about.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, great story. If that happened, imagine comes back, Super Bowl MVP,
All-Star,
4 picks.
Raider Jesse. Hi, Raider Jesse. It's been a long time. He says Texans and Lions. There's one reason I don't want the Lions to make this Super Bowl. That's the big cat, our boss.
Yeah, I know. We'll never hear the end of it.
Let us know on the Paris Jeweler inbox all these categories: Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, Super Bowl matchup, your champion, and your Super Bowl MVP. You can also let us know on the nasty chat as well. And we got a few more here before we get to Derek Van Dies from NHL.com. For week 1, I want one gimme game where it's just it's an easy game to select. There's no way the underdog is going to win. And I want one upset. I'll go first here. I'll let you think about it. I'm going to go with my upset first. And this is, people are going to laugh at me, but I think the 49ers lose on Monday. And for the reasons we've been talking about, a lot of their key players haven't played in the preseason. And what did Zig say? This is not week 1. This is week 4 of the preseason.
Yeah. There's some, it doesn't get kind of heated. What did he say? Week 5 or 6 until.
And there's no better candidate for that than the San Francisco 49ers. So I think the Jets are going to, and it's not a huge upset because you have Aaron Rodgers. That's a hell of a defense they got over there. They got some nice weapons as well, but that's my upset. How about you?
Well, my upset is, I think I have to go with the Eagles-Packers. With the Packers beating the Eagles on Cool Bet right now, plus 130. 113. Yeah, nice little parlay if you can put a couple of those together. Probably a little sprinkle, right, Maddie?
when I pick my when you do the parlay, you always have some underdogs in there. But for my gimme game of the week, I'm taking the Bengals over the Patriots. I don't see any way the Patriots beat the Bengals. I could be mistaken. Obviously, anything can happen. That's why you play the game. But that's my gimme game of the week.
Yeah, and I wonder. That's not happening. I guess the gimme I would, just because new coach, I think Chargers over the Raiders, right? I think Chargers will take that one.
You like the Chargers?
Well, everything's changing over there too, right? Like Harbaugh and everything. So I think they'll be jazzed for the start of the season. And the Raiders just seem destined to lose.
Who's the quarterback there in Las Vegas now?
It's not. I don't even know. Tell you the truth.
Maddie, do you know?
Where?
Not Oakland. Vegas Raiders.
I forgot. No, Gardner Minshew.
Minshew,
yes.
Right.
The legend. Morning show legend.
Yeah. I did like his workout video with the massive mullet, though.
Yeah. He is. He's and he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the upper echelon,
No.
but that mid-tier guy that can kind of get you by until you find your stud young guy or you trade for one of the elites. But for me, and he's just his personality, the persona, the mullet, all that. And he just fits Las Vegas.
I know. Yeah. He looks like one of those guys on the strip.
All right, that was fun. NFL predictions. Hey, we're going to keep these, and we'll see how many we get right here when it comes to mid-February at the end of the Super Bowl when the 49ers are lifting that trophy, and Hernan's going to be celebrating for that whole week here on EST Afternoons. Coming up next, switch gears here a bit. We'll catch up with Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. He is in New York City, so we'll find out what he's up to. We'll get his take on Leon Draisaitl and the Edmonton Elks. That's coming up next, but first, here's a sports update with Matthew Wanick.
NFL season will kick off as Kansas City will play host to the Baltimore Ravens. It's a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. You can watch the game with Lieutenant Eric out at Century Casino Sports Bar, Fort Road. Kickoff is 6:20. Chiefs will be without their superfan, Chief Saholic, as he's been sentenced to 17 and a half years in prison after committing a string of armed bank robberies across the U.S. Toronto Blue Jays are off today before they open up a series in Atlanta tomorrow. 2 games already final. Twins beat the Rays 4-3. Reds shut out the Astros 1-0. 2 other games underway. Mariners have a 3-0 lead over the Athletics in the top of the third. And in the second inning, the Giants trail the Diamondbacks 2-0. Coming up next from NHL.com, Derek Van Diest will join Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Adam Wanick. You're up to date.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
6:23 here on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's Salas, Gage, Joaquin here on EST Afternoons. Just had our NFL predictions. A lot of people chiming in. Starzilla says, "Dream on." Hey, dreaming's free, right? So, hope is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Don't let your what do they say? What's the saying? Don't let your memories surpass your dreams.
Sure.
Don't be that guy in the bar talking about what used to be. Always look ahead. Buddy.
Always look ahead. I like that. EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. You can listen live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in radio, iHeartRadio, or you can watch us on the EST YouTube channel. Are we ready to go here? Yes, we are, as we bring in Derek Van Diest, my fellow Chilean media member, as we're taking over the Edmonton media world here from NHL.com. DVD, how you doing, man? And you're in New York City. What you doing there?
Good. I'm in a little pub in Chelsea, just here catching some soccer games. I thought I'd pop in and have a beer. I've been walking around town all day, so I think it's time to just come in here, have a beer, talk to you guys, watch a little soccer, and then go from there. So it's been a fun trip so far. Went to the Mets game last night. That was a good game. Thinking about going to U.S. Open today, but I'm not sure. Tickets are a little expensive. So I'm just kind of hanging around, walking around Chelsea, and working my way down from Times Square. So it's fun times so far.
You got to watch the Chile-Argentina World Cup qualifying game today, buddy.
Yeah, that's why I came in. This pub, this pub is a soccer pub. There's a reason I walked into this one. So yeah, so I'll be asking them to turn that one on in about 90 minutes here. So we'll see if they have it, hopefully.
Before we get to the Oilers and Elks DVD, Cristiano Ronaldo scored today against Croatia for his 900th career goal. I mean, Matthew wouldn't give him any credit, but that's pretty incredible when it comes to soccer to score 900 goals for country and club combined.
Oh, it's an unbelievable feat. Like you look at that it's just incredible what he's done and the longevity of it. And I had a chance to watch Cristiano Ronaldo play live twice.
Yeah.
And when you watch him play live, you can't take your eyes off him. He is all over the field. And I saw him at the Euro. I think it was, I can't remember which Euro it was. I think it was either 2016. I think he was just all over the field playing with Portugal, and he's just mesmerizing, and he was the fittest guy on the field, the best player on the field, and he stood out. Messi's a little different because Messi, you kind of lose him. You don't pay attention to him, and then suddenly he shows up and he scores on you. So they're two completely different players, but I found a new appreciation watching Cristiano Ronaldo play live because he was the first one up the field, first one back, and he's an unbelievable talent, unbelievable to be able to play at that level for that long. He's that talented, works harder than everybody else, the fittest guy on the field. So I think he deserves all the accolades, all the kudos for doing what he did. You know, he may not be liked, his personality sometimes rubs people the wrong way, but I just think he's just one of the most talented players we've ever seen in our lifetime. And it doesn't surprise me that he's been able to accomplish that and continue to be doing it. He'll probably play till he's in his 40s if he doesn't get hurt. So he's a guy he's a physical specimen. And I'm glad I got to see him play live. I didn't get to see some of the other greats. Never saw Maradona, never saw Pelé, obviously. Never saw some of the other greats, but I have seen Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi play live. And I think that's a treat if you get a chance to do that.
Well, DVD, Matt Iwanek had to leave after that glowing review of Ronaldo there. He was throwing up in his mouth. But back here to the Edmonton Oilers. We haven't talked to you. Obviously, our show just started, so there's a reason why we haven't. But Leon Draisaitl's signs with the Edmonton Oilers. This gets done at, I think, a real important time before training camp, before the start of the regular season, hit the ground running. That's completely in the rearview mirror. What do you take from that signing, and what does that mean, do you think, with the next two, hopefully for Oilers fans, the eventual signings of Bouchard and Connor McDavid?
Well, I think that's obviously a huge, huge thing for the Edmonton Oilers to be able to lock up Leon Draisaitl for 8 years. And I think talking to Stan Bowman, I got an opportunity to sit down with Stan Bowman at the Hlinka Gretzky tournament, and we had a great conversation for about 30 minutes. And his number one responsibility was to sign Draisaitl. He came in here and he said, "That's my number one responsibility. That's what I'm working on right now, is to sign Leon Draisaitl." They didn't seem like they were far away in terms of number, $14 million, but it looked like just the way the contract is going to be structured and the length of the deal. I was a little surprised it was 8 years. but I think that just shows you the commitment Draisaitl has to the city, and he has to the team, that he's going to stick around here 8 years. He's got a no-movement contract throughout the entire contract, so they can't trade him. And the way I see it a little bit is like, he's just got engaged this summer. He's going to probably get married next year, and soon he'll probably start a family. So I think he wants some of that stability, maybe when he's trying to have a young family here and trying to raise it in Edmonton. Obviously, he likes Edmonton. And I think that may have been the reason for the length of stay. All those guys are growing up. They're going from kids and they're becoming family men now. So I think it's important, and I think it's big for the Edmonton Oilers. And I think that just signals that Connor McDavid is next. Like, Leon Draisaitl would not have signed here for 8 years if Connor McDavid wasn't signing here as well. That there's just no way that would have happened. They're best friends. Their wives are best friends. All those guys get along really well. So I think this is a group thing, and they're looking at this situation going, hey, we can extend this window 5, 6, 7 years perhaps if we stay together. And who knows, maybe we win 1, 2, 3 Stanley Cups in that window. You don't get that opportunity very often. And I think they looked at their team. They looked at the situation. They said, hey, we want to win. This is the best place to do it. They came within 2 goals of winning the Stanley Cup this year. And I think they believe they can get back there this season and finish the job. So I think this is good news for the Oilers. Now Stan Bowman's going to have to work. He's going to have to do in Edmonton what he did in Chicago, where he was able to extend that championship window and get 3 Stanley Cups out of there. So I think he's starting a little later here in Edmonton. He admitted he was starting a little later, where these guys are now kind of right in their prime. But I think that's the job he was hired to do, extend that championship window and bring a couple of Stanley Cups to Edmonton.
The DVD, when you look, we got to look forward now. Like, it's almost, well, we shouldn't say automatic, but it's McDavid is going to sign if Draisaitl signed here. But the other big one is Evan Bouchard. Where do you see, what number do you see him starting at here? Because, I mean, he had 82 points last season. He's only getting better. You don't want to make the same mistakes you made with Darnell Nurse, where you kept bridging this guy and he just got better and better. And then eventually you had to pay him market value, where Nurse got money that Seth Jones was getting, Werenski was getting. What's the starting number for you for Bouchard? And do you do this sooner rather than later and try to avoid that bridge?
I would try to do it sooner. I would try and lock him up as well. And that number is going to be 9, 10 million. It's going to be Darnell Nurse even numbers. Like, it's going to be, if you decide that he's going to be your number one guy, you're going to have to pay him as the number one guy. You're going to have to pay him what other number one guys are getting around the league. That's 10 and a half. For depending on the length of term. I don't think they're going to bridge him. I think they're going to have to find a way to get him in under the salary cap. They're going to have to either move some pieces or do something to get him in. And I think you're right. I think this is a kid that's shown that he's improved and he's got it done in the playoffs. And I know Stan Bowman really values that. He values being able to do what you do in the regular season, but do it in the playoffs as well. When the games get tougher, when things get harder, when the officiating gets, they call less. And I think he likes the fact that he's able to do in the playoffs. So he values that a lot. He told me he valued that a lot. So I think it's going to be a big payday for Evan Bouchard. And you look at those numbers and you look at the top defenseman, offensive defenseman in the league, he is right there. And he's right there. And he could be a candidate to win a Norris Trophy in the next 3 or 4 years. And he has that ability. And I think he may not be there yet, but he will be there with the Quinn Hughes, with the Cale Makars, with some of the best defensemen in the league. Defensively, obviously, he has some work to do, but I think offensively, he's right there among the best in the league, and I think he's going to have to get paid because of that, because he's one of the top offensive defensemen in the NHL.
Yeah, it's the Norris Trophy is such a funny award to me. I think there should be more of an offensive defenseman. The Norris can stay the same, but I think that should be more of a defensive-minded guy, and then maybe it's the Bobby Orr Award, right? Kind of like the Rocket Richard or something like that, because they're, like you said, what you said is right. He's in a different league offensively, but on the defensive side of the puck, there seems to be still some blemishes, but still time to make them a lot better as well. Now going to the gridiron, DVD, the Elks coming off a huge win, a dominating performance in the Labor Day Classic against the Calgary Stampeders. This team seems to be on a roll. They in the top rankings, Hernan and I have them kind of in that 2-3 slot behind the Montreal Alouettes. After this game, I think there's certain points of the season where teams really start to figure it out and realize that that there's the possibility of accomplishing something. How do you think the rest of the season goes for, well, let's just start with the next game against Calgary for the rematch, and maybe a little bit of a quarterback controversy of what might happen with Trey Ford if Bethel Thompson doesn't. I don't want to say, it's tough to say because that performance was so dominating with 486 passing yards, but the beauty of the Elks right now is they have two really good quarterbacks.
They do, and I think Trey Ford really lit the fire under McLeod Bethel Thompson, didn't he? Like, all of a sudden he's got competition. Trey Ford comes in, and I don't have an issue using two quarterbacks in different systems. I know that Chris Jones didn't want to do that, but I think they're such different types of quarterbacks. And I think I'm a huge Trey Ford fan. I really think that the team plays better with him. There's more excitement. He just has the better tools. He's the more athletic quarterback. He's got the better arm. I really like him in it, but I do think he lit a fire under this team, because I think sitting him on the bench for the first 7 games was a massive mistake. I don't care if you think the other guys are starting quarterback. You got to get him in there, and you got to let him play in some form or another. So it was a huge mistake sitting him on the bench for 7 games. And I think the team, the way they responded when he came off the bench, you could see that you could see the entire team lifted and said, okay, we like this guy. We want to play for this guy. He's one of our guys. And I think what happened was that revitalized the team, and they went out and they started playing better. And then obviously when Trey Ford got hurt, Bethel Thompson all of a sudden says, hey, I'm not the guaranteed starter. I gotta play better. If I'm not going to play better, this guy's going to take my job. And the whole point of bringing him in was to create competition, and they just handed him the job. And I think that was the issue. They just gave, okay, you're our starting guy. Don't worry about what happens. You're going to be our guy. You're going to be our guy. And now that Chris Jones out and said, hey, no, sorry, I don't care if you're the quarterback. I don't care how much money you're making. I don't care if you're the starting quarterback. This is a competitive thing, and we're going to have competition for this position. So I think when Trey Ford does come back, I think whoever's playing better, play him. And I think it's really that simple. If you're succeeding with one, you keep going. If you're not, then you bring in the other one in. You have 2 quality quarterbacks in your system. You can use them both. You should use them both. And I think right now you look at the Elks, but they should have won 5 in a row. They should have won that game against Montreal. Mm-hmm. So they're playing such good football right now. I was really impressed with Labor Day. I'm pretty sure they're going to come back and make it 2 straight against Calgary. And I think I like the way this team is playing. And they seem like a much more confident football team than they were at the beginning of the year. That beginning of the year just looked like they were kind of dragging. They were making a lot of mistakes. A lot of bad things were happening. But I think right now they're playing such really good football. I think it's just a matter of time. They're putting it all together. But I do not have an issue if you use both quarterbacks. You have 2 talented guys. They both have different skill sets. Utilize that. Don't just give one guy the pass and say you're a starter regardless of what happens. So I think they're in good shape right now. They can kind of continue this momentum rolling, and if they can continue rolling, you're going to get people back excited about football again, back excited about this team, because if they can kind of keep that trend going, I think they're going to do well.
Derek Van Diest from NHL.com joining us here live on EST Afternoons. He's in New York. I'm sure you saw the news yesterday about plans to renovate Commonwealth Stadium. As someone that was there recently for the Metallica concert DVD, they had renderings of potential renovations, concessions, bathrooms, kind of a glass on top of the stadium to cover it up. Like I said, you've been there for football games. You've been there for concerts when it's an actual sellout. Where do you think this needs to start, and what would be kind of where you would begin with the renovations here?
Well, you know what? The renovations are something like, to me, if it was up to me, I would blow that thing up and build a brand new stadium. I would. That thing is like 90 years old. You can keep putting lipstick on that pig and hope it gets better, The concourses are too tight. The concourses will always be too tight. And that's the biggest issue with that stadium. Unless you expand those concourses, which means blowing up with the concrete and pushing the stadium, making it a bigger, you're always going to have the same problems. You had that problem at the Heritage Classic. You had that problem at the Metallica concert. You're going to have that problem. You probably had that problem at the Pink concert. You're going to have the problems because the concourses are too tight. A stadium was built for 40,000 people. They expanded it to 50, 60,000. You get another 10, 15,000 on the floor for a concert. suddenly you got 60, 65,000 people in that stadium. That concourse won't fit them all. So I don't care how many bells and whistles you put on that stadium until you kind of get to the bottom and to get the bones of the structure, there are always going to be problems. So I would not have a problem if they just blew that thing at the sky, start all over again and build a brand new state-of-the-art facility with a roof on it because it's Edmonton and it gets cold in November. Find a way to build a roof on that stadium because to me, it's ridiculous to have an open-air stadium in a place where it gets so cold in November and December, you're trying to play football. And if you had a roof on that stadium, you can have concerts all year. You can do so many things with that thing. And we've been around, Hernan, I've been to different places. It doesn't seem that difficult to build roofs on stadium now. So many venues have it, retractable roofs, whatever you have it. I think you just got to take that stadium, blow it apart, bring someone else in and say, build us a new stadium with a retractable roof. It's 2024 for crying out loud. And this is the city that should have a stadium with a retractable roof. And like LA has a retractable roof for crying out loud. Minnesota does. All those cold weather places have a retractable roof. I'm sure the next one Buffalo gets is going to be a retractable roof. Like, seriously, guys, stop putting lipstick on a pig. Blow this thing up and start all over and build a state-of-the-art facility where you can have concerts all year round. That's just my opinion. But that's the way I think, because you're just throwing good money after bad, in my opinion. You're not solving the problems of that stadium. And I think FIFA came in here, looked at that stadium, and you're like, okay, you guys need a lot of work on that stadium. And then you look at the stadiums that they're going to play these World Cup games in.
Yeah.
And Hernan, you've been around the stadiums all over the world. Commonwealth doesn't even compare. Like, if these people, the city should go to these other stadiums around the world and go, okay, I see what they're talking about. Go to Atlanta, go to Los Angeles, go to these different places where they have these state-of-the-art facilities, and then you'll see what they're talking about. Because I think Edmonton needs a state-of-the-art facility, not just another coat of paint on Commonwealth Stadium and say, okay, there you go.
Right, DVDs tearing down Commonwealth Stadium. I like it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Derek, my man.
That's my opinion.
No, great stuff. Thank you for chiming in on the Oilers, the Elks, and on the Commonwealth Stadium renovation plan here. Enjoy New York City. Enjoy the game tonight, Chile, Argentina. I know you're going to be wearing your red colors proud there, and hopefully they can get some points. 1 or 3 would be fantastic. But Derek, thank you for taking the time, and we'll chat soon.
Sounds good. Thanks. And I want to congratulate you on your show, guys. Doing a great job so far and a good job. And I'm looking forward to being on more often.
Thanks,
you, man. Buddy. Have a safe trip home.
All right. Thanks. See you guys later.
Lars on the Nasty Chest says DVD for mayor.
Yeah.
I mean, a new stadium, of course, would be amazing. Like, you build one that's good for the Elks, you get a soccer team or whatever, right? And like a 30,000, 40,000, you don't need more than that.
No.
I think it's just not as easy as.
What number do you think's perfect for CFL? 30?
I'd like to go a little bit more than 30 because for years here Commonwealth was getting 40, and you're hoping one day you're going to get to that, right? So I think 35 to 40 I would go.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it would be nice. Like, you look at Rogers, they got the boxes, the specialty places. There's other things you can do, right? But it is old. It's. I mean, how old is that thing? 72?
No, 78, I want to say.
Oh, is it? Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's time. I mean, I love when you go to the U.S. and like Philadelphia, for instance, like the football and the baseball and it's all there, right? In Seattle, you have the baseball and football right next to each other. In a perfect world, I think that's what you want. I don't know if that's feasible downtown.
Where would you build though, right? Because you probably want to keep it central. Because it's. I mean, the parking is not ideal at Commonwealth. Never has been.
No, it sucks. It's terrible.
Yeah. So
now it's all like all the signs are out. You can't park anywhere.
Yeah.
Even the residents are upset about all that.
But you don't want to build like on the outskirts, like where you have to drive, because then that's going to be another problem. People are not going to want to go because it's too far.
But I mean, if it's, you don't want something like in Phoenix where it was. Like, you don't want to be driving.
That's what I mean, like Ottawa.
But like Canada going out there. But I mean, somewhere there's a lot of space between here and Leduc. I don't think that's too bad a spot. And you could, there's all those other, like having some amenities out there. And so I don't know how it exactly would work. I like the idea of downtown, but then again, where do you park, right?
Yeah.
So it just, I think somewhere.
But it works and it's different because it's less people, but it works for Rogers Place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I know.
Like
but it's
takes
not, it's what, 18,000.
Yeah.
It's not 40. So.
Oh, that's a good point.
No.
244. I want to thank Derek Van Diest once again from NHL.com as he joins us in New York City. I'm a little bit jealous. I've never been there. And,
no?
No.
That's great.
Looks like he's just there on a nice little vacation.
Oh, I know. The
hockey season starts. And I did hear U.S. Open tickets are extremely expensive. So he's probably just going to hang out at that pub, watch the game, have a few beers. But big thanks to DVD for joining us. And he might become a regular on our show as well as he covers all the West teams, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg. All right, one segment to go. We'll wrap it up next. But first, here is Matthew Wanick with a sports update.
NFL season kicks off out in Kansas City as the Chiefs will hoist their banner and then play host to the Baltimore Ravens in a rematch of last year's AFC Championship game. You can watch the game with Lieutenant Eric at Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge, Fort Road, kickoff 6:20. Toronto Blue Jays, they are off today before they open up a series in Atlanta against the Braves tomorrow. 2 games already final in the majors. Twins getting past the Rays 4-3 while the Reds shut out the Astros 1-0. 2 other games underway. In the 4th inning, the Mariners have a 3-1 lead over the Athletics, while the Diamondbacks are up 2-0 over the Giants. That one also in the 4th. And Cristiano Ronaldo becomes the first man to score 900 goals in official matches as he scored a goal as Portugal takes on Croatia in UEFA Nations League action. Coming up next is the final segment for today of EST Afternoons with Hernan, Salas, and Joaquin Gage. I'm Adam Wanick. You're up to date.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper. It deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Salas, Gager, Iwanik. Final segment. Had a great show. Ian Herbers, former teammate of Joaquin.
Herbie.
What a trip, though, to Belfast. Eh? That must have been so cool for that group.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Belfast is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
When we were there, we would obviously I played in Ayr. That's just right across in Scotland, right? So you'd jump on the ferry. Ferries were ridiculous. There was 4 bars on the ferry, and I know Lieutenant Eric would love this, but the Guinness flowed very freely, right? But they had Guinness Extra Cold on tap. It was called, and it was like a little bit lighter, and obviously It came out colder. That was my go-to. It was so delicious.
So I have a question for you. So I know in South America, like when you get a beer, they ask you if you want a cold or room temperature.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's similar there? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
It all comes. They don't.
I was
mess
like
it.
warm. Like why would I want a warm beer? Like,
I thought that in Germany they serve some beers warm, but no, Scotland and Ireland was completely different. It was funny because some people don't even drink Guinness if it's not in Ireland, right? Or some people don't even. It tastes different. It's like going, you go to I don't know, Holland and have a Heineken. It just tastes different. After it travels, it's just not the same. But yeah, we would get into Belfast usually the night before, and we would. One time we went on was called a Black Taxi, and a guy went around and gave you a history of the place.
Oh, really?
Right. So the Protestants and all the history of and I remember one time we saw all these crosses. He was driving us through and explaining all the stuff, and I go, "Oh, did someone die there?" He goes, "Oh no, there's names on those for if they ever show up again, they're dead." Like they were preemptive crosses on these things. So different place to live. Like even the cop cars had little skid plates underneath that I go, what are those for? So you don't throw like Molotov cocktails under the cop cars. Yeah.
Wow.
So
no, that must have been such a cool trip. Yeah. Good on them. We had our NFL prediction. We had a lot of fun with that. And, of course, Eric Van Dies from NHL.com. Just in case this news, it was a little misleading because for CFL Fantasy, if you're in that or if you're in Maddie's league or Dusty's league, Austin Mack was listed for the game tomorrow as kind of, I think he was day-to-day or questionable or something like that. But now the reports are that he's landed on the 6th game. And he just signed a big deal. I think he's played 2 games for them. And he's an outstanding receiver. So that news just coming down that he has landed on the 6th game. Of course, they're hosting the BC Lions tomorrow. That's going to be a fantastic game. Cody Fajardo, Nathan Rourke. I do think BC is going to win that one. I think Montreal's due. They've gotten away with a few games here that they probably shouldn't have won, but I'm going to take the BC Lions. But the NFL does kick off tonight, 6:20, as the Chiefs host the Baltimore Ravens. Chiefs trying to become the first team in NFL history to win the Super Bowl 3 straight seasons. You want to do a prediction? Because the Chiefs lost their season opener last year to the Lions.
Well, just to cheer Maddie up with all this Ronaldo talk, I'll predict the Ravens. I think there's something there. I think there's a lot to prove. Going up against the Super Bowl champs, I think the Ravens will. I'm not going to. Well, 28-21. How's that?
I like it. I'm going Ravens too.
Yeah.
I think they got something special brewing there, especially with the addition of Henry. What did you go? 28-21?
28-21.
I know. Are many expecting a high scoring game? Because usually when we do, it's the opposite, right?
I know.
So
I wonder what they say at the.
I'm going to go 23-14 for the Baltimore Ravens.
The total points over under at Coolbet, the under 46.5. So not a overly high scoring game is what they're predicting, but
and I can't get Zig out of my head when he said like this is preseason week 4.
Yeah,
where a lot of these teams, haven't practiced, haven't played together. I mean, it's going to come together when you have 2 elite quarterbacks like Lamar and Patrick Mahomes. But yeah, it's going to be a fun game.
The juice is going to be flowing in this game. Like, those NFL guys, opening night, a lot of eyes on this. It's going to be packed.
Are you creating a parlay?
I'm trying to.
You're going to sprinkle some?
Well, I'm trying. My parlays keep growing. That's the problem.
Yeah, like 20 things. It's like
I've got to. Oh my God, I'm going to win $100,000 tonight.
You sound like my nephew. Yeah, he shows me his parlay. I'm like, well, God, no wonder you don't hit. You have like 15 things on here.
It's terrible, and I talk myself into it. Oh, it looks good. It looks really good, but no, I think it's. I would take the Ravens at plus 131.
Yeah, and what's been great about like Coolbet and all this is the props, right?
They're so fun.
They're so much fun. And like you said, but sometimes you overdo it, right?
Well, it's so easy, and then the problem is you put the weight. Oh, if If I sprinkle a little more, look at that.
5
growth.
things. Is that like I would put a max on how many prop bets I make on one ticket?
I think, I can't remember who said it at CoolBet. They said the max you should do is maybe 3, essentially.
Okay.
Because the odds, you can see it in the bet, right? The odds
of course, it's showing you right there.
Going nuts. If they're going nuts after a certain bet, that's the time to stay cool and bet responsibly.
Stay cool. Yeah, I'm probably going to sprinkle some on this game today. I'll probably stay away from, even though I picked the Ravens, I'll probably stay away from that. It'll probably be just to be some yards, receiving yards and touchdowns and all that fun stuff. Because it keeps you engaged when it's not your team, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. There's some, just going through, there's some really good Sunday week 1 specials too. So like highest scoring team.
I find Sunday so overwhelming because there's so many games.
It's crazy.
I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, no, it's almost it's fun to go to an establishment.
Yeah,
and kind of they'll have a few different games on and stuff.
There's some really good establishments here that have 20 TVs. You can watch every game. So, but it's funny because like if it's my team, I like to watch it at home.
Me too.
Right? If they play the first game at 11 a.m. and then the rest are in the afternoon, then I'll be like, sure, let's go watch. Because I really don't have to pay attention.
No,
but when it's my team, I'll just like to be focused and yell on my own and kind of curse and all that. So,
you?
Yeah. Really?
It's crazy.
All right, our third show is just about to wrap up here. Big thanks to Ian Herbers, head coach of the Alberta Golden Bears men's hockey team. Derek Van Dies, of course, our brilliant producer who's been working his butt off this week, Matthew Wanick. For Joaquin Gage, I am Hernan Salas. This is EST Afternoons on Edmonton Sports Talk. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy the NFL game tonight, and we'll chat tomorrow.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.